Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey everybody, we're live. It's Tuesday, and as always, I'm joined by Tony.
What is going on, people?
And Wolfie.
Oh, everybody.
I'd just like to point out that I said, we're going live in like a few seconds, and then Wolfie's like, so anyways, bloop, 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 bloop. I cut him off. So, yeah, there you go.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if you're 100% like ready because you were having a few problems. So Tony and I were just yakking away.
I'm ready. So yeah, we have a few things we want to talk about. One of them is we have a special show this Thursday. Unfortunately, Wolfie won't be able to make it, but
No.
we have a special show this Thursday with some guests that Tony's been trying to work on for a while to get them in here. So we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Work on or work over?
Both. But
Tony is from Jersey, you know.
It's true. All of our guests on Thursday have broken kneecaps. That's all I gotta say. And,
Back to Mr. Nine Fingers.
That's right. Yeah, there's a few other things that we want to talk about for sure. One of them being that Toney is now a Hollywood movie star, and we can't afford him anymore. So,
I will be no longer joining you guys. Actually, what we actually have to start doing is having everyone pay to watch us because my paycheck will cost way too much. So,
it must be nice. Sergio's in the chat room. Just wanted to point that out. What's going on, Sergio? But tell us about the this movie that you're in.
It is pretty much a documentary, and it's pretty much what all of us and maybe some of the people that watch us do. I know Kevin has a nice collection, Wolfie has a nice collection, but it's pretty much, I'll show it here. It's movie hoarders from VHS to DVD and beyond. So pretty much Cool Duder actually last May got in contact. Sean Phillips.
Sean Phillips, if you don't know him from YouTube, if you know him from his movies.
But I think I think some of it maybe titled like Sean Phillips. Yeah, exactly. So he got in contact and he's like, hey, I know this one guy. He's trying to make a documentary about, collectors and whatever. He's like, you want to be a part of it? And I'm like, oh, sure, why not? And pretty much he had me shoot like a pretty much like I would normally do like a review or an update or whatever. But there was like pinpoint questions that he wanted us to hit. And then we would send the video over to Toney Newton, who's done other documentaries. I think one was called like VHS Lives or whatever. So then I sent over, I guess, the rights to the video and all that stuff, and didn't really hear from it. I didn't know if it was really going to happen or whatever. And then earlier in the year, there was little advertisements for it and all that stuff. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I was looking, they had an IMDb for it. And I'm like, oh, I don't see my name. So I'm like, okay, maybe my stuff hit the cutting room floor, but I want to check it out anyways because I was very interested. And lo and behold, my face, my beautiful face, if I must say, was in it. Only kidding. But I thought it was pretty cool, like being able to, how many movies that I've collected over the years now to have one that,
that you're
I'm a part of. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool, but pretty much it's most of the main talking points were, why do you choose physical media over digital, and what got you into it, and so pretty much my whole thing was I grew up physical, like going into video stores and all that, being able to pick up the thing, look at the cover art, and you know, it's not the same with digital. I mean, it's simple with digital.
You can pick it up
and back in the day, you know, I mean, sometimes the movie might have been pure garbage, but the cover art was what got you going. You're like, oh my god, this looks so cool! I'm gonna take it home and I'm gonna watch it. And you're like, God.
So what are you guys talking about next? And Tony, you better face out there. I'm not sure, but yeah. So the he's commenting on how beautiful your face is. I'm assuming. So yeah, we're Sergio. We're talking about a few things, but you know, there's definitely something that we're getting to. But yeah, so that's pretty awesome. I
think it's great.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I remember when you know, with Bite School, I was very excited about that, and then we hit the cutting room floor, so that was pretty awesome. But I had music in the movie, so that's cool.
Yeah, I if I remember right, I believe Cool Dude or Sean, you know, got in touch with me about this too, because as Tony said, I'm a movie hoarder also, aka collector, and it turned out that I got back to him a little too late, so you know, I didn't respond right away. It's my fault, but
yep,
I think it's awesome that Tony's in a movie, Kevin and Leo are in a movie.
Well, I'm in the Talking with the Dead.
You're in the Talking with the Dead. Yeah.
You're next.
Yeah, you're next. So is there anyone else in the movie that we would know?
Probably.
Well, there's Mr. What's his name? M. Parker.
Okay.
Mr. Parker.
Yeah.
Mr. Parker, he's in it. Cool Duder, Cinestalker.
Oh, nice.
Lloyd Kaufman.
Oh, cool.
He shows up talking about, you know, without physical media, trauma wouldn't be what it is, kind of deal. Because
that's true.
Question is, does Taylor Swift make an appearance in Lloyd Kaufman's?
If she did, I didn't notice. It might have been like in the background or somewhere. Yeah. But he was pretty much saying, you know, how physical media changed trauma, because 95% chances normal TV is not going to stream or play any of that stuff. So physical media was the only way to get a lot of those movies out there.
They did show some trauma back in the day, like USA, back when it was like Up All Night, like Night Flight, stuff like that.
They totally did. That's how I was introduced to a lot of it.
Yeah. They would show like Class of Nukem High and stuff like that, and you'd stay up going, wow, this is cool. Now I need to see the unrated version because it was on USA, and you're like, huh, there's a fuzzy spot right there.
I can remember, like on Cinemax, like Wicked Late at Night, Sizzle USA was released by Trauma Entertainment, and that was a Kevin Costner softcore porn.
Yeah,
I remember watching when I would stay up late without my parents knowing.
But they showed Mother's Day, which was made by Lloyd Kaufman's brother Charlie. You know, so yeah, I mean, cable in the early days of cable, they were a stepping stool for trauma, but really the physical media is what made them.
So on a note other than physical media, because you know, especially with the whole, you know, panic thing that was going on, and you know, there's a lot of like really good streaming stuff that's been coming out. Wolfie and I just talked about one. This is one that we had actually mentioned previously. I know because Tony, you're a big Goosebumps guy, right?
Yeah.
Have you got a chance to watch any of the Fear Street?
Yeah, I love them.
Oh yeah, have you watched all three?
Yep.
Really? Do you have So do you like Is there any that you like more than the others?
To tell you the truth, I probably, if I had to choose, just because of my style, I think I like this. What is it? 78. The second one.
Yeah, 78.
78 a little bit. If I had to choose all of them, but like I was dreading because I'm not really into like the you know, the witch lore and all that stuff. So when I saw 1666, I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna, because I love the first two, and I'm like going into that, I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this one. And then I watched it, and I'm like, whatever they did, I loved it almost as much.
Nice.
And then I don't want to spoil anything for those who haven't watched it yet. But
Kevin and I haven't watched it.
We've only watched the first one.
We've only seen 1994 so far. So
all right. So with that, I mean, all three of them, I was very especially with being the R.L. Stine, and I'm thinking in my head, okay, this is going to be like a little bit more of an adult version of Goosebumps. The amount of gore that were in some of these, I was like, okay, wow, I was not expecting it.
Yeah, I loved the two, but just the bread cutter scene in the first one alone, I was like,
I was because in the beginning there was some I was like, okay, and then the end between that and the that axe part, I was like, gee, I was not expecting this. The second one has a lot, and it takes place in
does it have more than the first one?
Equal to.
Okay.
There's some that were like that bread cutting one. I think takes the cake for the whole series. But the second one, I was like, okay, well, that's definitely different.
Mm-hmm.
But in the second one, there was, I think, a little bit more implied violence. But there was one I was like, whew. I was like, that one kind of rivaled it. But all three of them, anybody who's watching this, I've been telling everybody at work, I was like, it made me excited. I'm like, I didn't, especially not expecting as much in it. I was like, just, you have to sit down and watch all three.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is I've been kind of holding off because I watched the first one. We were just on vacation, and we watched the first one, me and my wife, and we wanted to watch the other ones together. So I'm going to have to break the news that we have to watch it this week because Wolfie and I are talking about it on Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah. And but yeah, there's some other stuff too. Like there's another movie that like Ryan from That Strange Show would ask me if I checked out. First off, Ryan,
the classic horror show.
Yes,
I watched that too.
Ryan's favorite of the three was the third one, the 1666. That was his favorite of the three. Of the Fear Street. But yeah, what's the other one called?
I think it's called like a classic horror movie or something. It's I believe it was made earlier this year or late last year. It's Italian film, and it's pretty much these people. They end up in this I have to rewatch it because I was like not mystified, but this was after Fear Street, so I wasn't like paying as much attention as I should.
Tony has to rewatch it again because what Tony does is he turns his, and you've told people this, at night you'll turn.
No, it was in the morning. It was actually in the morning.
I thought this was one of those times where you're like, oh, well, when I go to bed, you usually turn a movie on, you fall asleep to it.
No. So it wasn't one that I could fall asleep to. It's just that with Fear Street in my head, I watched it directly after the 1666 one. Mm-hmm. That I was like, I had that in my brain because I was in like I have to watch this mode, because I saw Fear Street. And then right after that, I saw people talking about it. I'm like, oh, you have to check this one out. It's an Italian film. So, but it's actually, it's like, it has like Wicker Man kind of vibe. It has like a cultish vibe to it.
That's right up Wolfie's alley right there.
So it's like folklore, all this mixed into like new age. It's very interesting. It has like a weird spin to it, but it's definitely one I think Wolfie would definitely enjoy. I think you'll like it too.
I'm sure I would, but as soon as you said culty, I was like, oh, Wolfie, what's up? So
classic. It's called a classic horror story.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so there's that we need to check out. And then I watched Ryan from That Strange Show recommended a show called Mary Ann. Yeah, Mary Ann. It's on Netflix. It's a French series, and I've only watched the first episode. It was really good. I want to watch the other ones, but each episode's like an hour long, and it's very involved. I mean, from what I've seen from the first episode. So it was the first episode was really good. If you have Netflix, you can watch it dubbed or you can watch it with subtitles. Wolfie doesn't have Netflix, so I had to track it down. So the first 3 episodes are on my Plex, Wolfie, with subtitles. So It's not dubs; it's only subtitles. But yeah, it's I want to get into. I want to keep up with it, but at the same time too, I don't want to ruin it. You know what I mean? I don't want to like be done with it and then be like, oh crap, there's no more, because
crap, I gotta wait like another year.
It came out a couple years ago in France and it just came to the US, like in Netflix. So who knows if there's any other seasons? I don't know.
That happens a lot.
Yeah. So I'm guessing to kind of rival Shudder, Netflix is kind of stepping up there, because I'm looking through like the other day doing my TikToks and whatever.
Yeah,
all
the
twerking besides my video, like
Toney's Badonkadonk. That's
Toney's what it's called. Happy birthday, everybody!
Yeah, Toney's named Badonkadonks. That's what it is.
But pretty much I went through and I'm like, you have your, everyday horror kind of deal where it's like the wrong turns or whatever. But then there's other ones that you look at the titles and they're kind of iffy. But then, of course, you get the Fear Streets and the, like I said, the classic horror. What is it? I can't even think.
Classic horror story.
That's it. But so it looks like the newer stuff that they're kind of putting out is there to kind of, like I said, rival, because Fear Street.
It's a different animal. I mean, I think that they're, Netflix, they have the name and they have the money behind them. But there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot more independent stuff that's kick-ass on Shudder.
Yeah.
Well, there's that, and the other fact is they're losing. I mean, they're losing a lot of licenses because everybody's starting a streaming service now. NBC owns Universal, CBS has Paramount and Warner Brothers, and so I mean, everything's getting pulled. So like, well, now we need to start digging. We need to start digging not just locally, but we need to go across the pond, man. Find the cool stuff.
Yeah.
And did you say Italians are making horror movies now, Tony? What?
Well, who would have thought?
Attack of the Killer Meatballs? Is that what it's called? I just want to point out that so I was saying that your Thursday TikToks are make your booty clap. It's your Badonkadonk booty clap birthdays is on Thursdays.
And he finds out how old each person is, and does
clap, clap, clap.
It's like, and Shayna is 15. Wow. 14.
Like, oh, no. This person wants me to give a shout out to his grandpa. Like, oh no, 75.
So in case everybody, all the listeners now, anybody not watching it, that's actually what the show's about. We're not having any guests on this Thursday. It's actually going to be my TikToks live.
That's a lie.
It's going to be my TikToks live. I'm going to do it here. Don't listen to Kim. I'm going to do it here. I'm going to do my booty clapping right on live. So
I'm going to have someone call in and say I'm a 100-year-older.
I'm the oldest man alive. It's my birthday. So that's a lie. We have multiple guests on, and one possible guest. So there's multiple guests, and there's one that may pop in that I'm not going to advertise, because if they don't pop in, I don't want to be like, oh, it's false advertising.
So we'll have one secret.
So in my, I'm already making the thumbnail for it, and I'm going to have a question mark with a symbol.
No worries.
Yeah. But yeah, so before
send the answers into Toney on who you think it's going to be, and he'll do a twerk for you.
Yeah. I mean, you can probably figure it out if you look at the IMDb when we announce it. This is what we're doing to make people listen. It's bait and switch. Just kidding, it's not. Because again, we've had this show booked more than once, I believe, and it's just fallen apart. And
because what they wanted to do is
they're working actors, and they want to do it all together,
And being some of these guests are in the industry hard, so it's like it's
they're busy
every other. So trying to get as many.
Thank God they're busy. It's good.
Yeah. No, exactly.
But yeah. So besides that, I'd mentioned this to Wolfie on Sunday, and we both kind of missed the fact that it aired. But American Horror Stories, I guess the first episode of that aired.
Dude, I did a search for it today, and it's not on. It's not on FX. It's not on FXX.
Oh, you know what? I don't think it is. I think it might be FX on Hulu. It might only be on Hulu. Well, either way, I'll figure it out for you.
Because what I heard is they put 2 episodes out every Thursday or something like that.
Yeah, 2 episodes. It's like the first 2 episodes are like a 2-parter.
Okay.
But yeah, that might be what it is. It might be that it's FX on Hulu.
Yeah. Okay. It's
so
just
they're forcing you to sign up for Hulu.
Well, everyone's trying to force me to sign up for something. I watched the TV show Evil last year, which was on CBS.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome show. Looking forward to when it comes back. And then when it comes back, they go
Paramount.
It's only going to be on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys suck.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I have Paramount Plus, but I don't pay for them. I use my dad's login. So my family just like shares logins for different things. So like my Netflix, we have like, it's all filled up. We have like my sister and my parents and whatever. And then like Hulu is me, my brother-in-law, my parents, and I think maybe one of my sisters. And then, but he gives us, my dad will give us Paramount and Peacock and like whatever. So like we kind of share. But
no, that's fine and all, but it's just annoying that you put all that time.
How come no one's sharing with me?
No, it's not that.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I haven't checked it out yet. That's another one that my wife wants to watch with me. So by the time we get around to doing it, it'll probably be done for the season.
So with the going into like the streaming services, because I guess it's a good thing and a bad thing kind of deal, because at that point in time I haven't signed up for like the HBO Max or Paramount Plus or anything like that, but the only services that I have is like Disney Plus, and I had at that point in time like the network, the WWE network, and the only good thing about both of those is they have so much other stuff that, you know, just watching it on your normal TV, you know, as a channel, it didn't supply with that. So, you know, each one, I don't know how much, you know, HBO Max is, Paramount Plus or whatever, you might be able to, well, the only good thing too with like HBO Max is you get, you know, unless I know you two want the, you know, movie theater experience, but say if you don't want to go to the theaters this week, I can watch movies in a theater at home.
That's true. You could do the on-demand thing, or you know, the streaming thing with you know, not all movies are doing that though, because that movie Old from M. Night Shyamalan, which is coming out, is only going to be in theaters.
But there's other movies that were only in theaters for a very short amount of time and now are available. Like
that's true.
Quiet Place 2 is already available like for free if you have, I don't know if it's Peacock or Paramount, but one of them you can stream it right now for free if you have that service. So I mean, they're doing like with Disney, like they're doing it same day with a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, I just felt like when it came to like Evil, the TV show Evil, I felt like it was a big bait and switch. It's like, okay, here you go. We're going to give it to you on local broadcasts. Oh, guess what? Screw you. Now you got to pay for it. And I'm like, that just irks me, man. I'm like, that doesn't make me want to buy anything from you.
Well, I think where that comes into play is it's a way for them to make their money, you know, because before they're only making money through ads, you know, that's how they're making their money.
Right, I understand.
And the majority of America is not watching TV like it used to. So in order to make up for those ads, they're doing a streaming service, and it may only be like $5-10 a month, which doesn't seem like a lot, but if there's a lot of people subscribing, and then at the same time too, some of them still have commercials.
Yeah.
You're paying for a service that's still, so I pay for Hulu. Hulu has commercials. I paid an extra $5, I think, to get rid of commercials. So
yeah, see, that's
but
just...
I'll be honest with you, I signed up because my wife was complaining so much about commercials. I was like, all right, well, they have commercial free. I'm just going to sign up for that and see how she likes it. And she's like, what did you do that for? That's ridiculous. And she's like, now there's no going back. Like, she was like mad that I signed up for it. And she's like,
now there's no going back.
Now with a lot of these, like I said, the only one I have, so I don't know if each one's like this, but I'm guessing, you know, if one comes out, the other one kind of follows suit. Do they have like archival stuff that, you know, is off air that are returning and stuff?
Yeah, a lot of them do.
Yeah, like NBC owns Universal, so they're gonna have like all the stuff that was on NBC at one point in time, whether it's Get Smart or whatever, I mean.
Yeah. Like right now, a lot of NBC stuff is on Hulu. I mean, that might change, but yeah, I mean, like you can go back, like, I don't know if you can watch every SNL, but you can go back and watch a lot of SNL.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's like Hulu is one of the multiple platforms that has the whole Twilight Zone series on there.
I have the whole Twilight Zone on DVD.
Yeah, but I can have it on a little screen as I'm working, so it's like it works. But it's something we've been talking about for a long time. Like I remember we used to, I didn't want to believe that was the way things were going to go. And then at some point I'm like, yeah, it looks like that's the way things are going to go. And even my dad, he was born in 1939. He's not a young guy. And he's like,
what? He's not young?
Just because
born in 1939.
Because you're only 3 years younger than him doesn't mean. But he we got rid of cable a while ago, and he wants to pick my brain and he's just like, hey, we need to figure this out because his cable bill's over $200 a month. He doesn't even have any pay channels.
Well, that's at that point in time. I think cable's going to have to change their thing because a lot of people are unplugging fast. I know.
Yeah.
My
for sure. To be honest with you, I watch YouTube more than I watch anything right now. I watch like a ton of like podcasts on YouTube. I don't know. My wife's like, "This is on YouTube, isn't it?" I'm like, "Yep." She's like, "Oh, it's ridiculous." I'm like, "It's free, whatever." But and they're good. A lot of, especially during the pandemic, a lot of people really stepped up their game when it comes to that stuff.
Sergio says, Kevin, I've got a good name for a wicked horror show. It's called Spooky Wicked Horror Show.
I don't know about that. Oh, Max is in the room as well.
Brother Max, yeah.
Brother Max. As do I watch YouTube more than anything. Yeah. So like when I'm on break at work or whatever, like I work from home, I just go in there and I put YouTube on, and I'll so on Tuesdays, there's a podcast that comes out every Tuesday, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna start that while I'm on my break, and then I'll come in and finish it after my break. And
he does the same thing. He works late nights at a Kroger store. And so when he's on his break, he'll just go watch like all these YouTube videos. Yeah. I know this because when we put something new up, we always send each other the link. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Oh, I got something to watch on lunch now," and
nice.
So
cool.
Yeah. What's
his channel?
The one and only MSJ.
There you go. So if you're listening, go check that out on YouTube. But we're almost about halfway through, so we should talk about our special guest.
He used to be part of the channel 2 Ton Nerds.
Okay.
And if you watch 2 Ton Nerds, it was two chubby guys that sit around talking movies. One guy moved away, and Max was still there, and then all he had was just him talking horror movies. And he got kind of bored with that. Not that he got bored with horror movies, but he wanted to talk about other stuff other than horror because he's a huge wrestling fan. Mm-hmm. He likes regular movies, big Kevin Smith fan. So he talks about everything over on the one and only MSJ.
There you go. Go check it out. I'm a big Kevin Smith fan as well. Did you see? I don't know. I'm assuming you've seen, but Clerks 3.
Clerks 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be starting soon. So
we talked to Max and I talked about it today. I'm like, I didn't think it was going to happen because at one point Jeff Anderson didn't want anything to do with it.
Yep.
And so he got Jeff Anderson involved somehow, and now Clerks 3 is being done. I'm like, dude, cool. Because Clerks 2 was awesome.
Yeah.
Still my favorite.
Yeah, there's, I mean, don't get me wrong, Kevin Smith has made some stinkers, but in general, like, his movies are very, very rewatchable for me. Yeah. I went to see Mallrats 5 times in the theater, 5 days in a row to see Mallrats.
The only one that I was like, about was Yoga Hosers.
Oh yes, that's what I was going to say. Yoga Hosers was hot garbage.
But I was like, I don't want to say I gave it to him because it was Kevin Smith and it was his daughter and Lily Rose Depp, and it's just like, they're not really actors. So and then because everybody hates Tusk, but I didn't mind it.
I liked Tusk.
I didn't hate Tusk. I think it could have been better, but it was fun.
I did not like.
I saw it in a little art theater. I was traveling for work. I was in Burlington, Vermont, and I went to a little art theater that they were playing it in, and it was like everyone was like, "Oh, Kevin Smith movie," and like legit, I think I was the only person in the theater that liked it. Like as soon as it was done, someone's like, "What did you just make me watch?" Like, and I'm like, "It was fun. Calm down." Like it's whatever. It's based off of a story on the podcast, so it's I don't know, it's cool.
Max got to see Yoga Hosers when he took it out on tour.
Oh, nice. Where's Max located?
Max is in Indiana.
Oh, okay, I was going to ask if you ever gone to the Quick Stop because I've actually gone to the Quick Stop in RSDV.
Dude, honestly, Max is a huge Kevin Smith fan, so to go to the Quick Stop, that'd be like
And the weird thing is that it's still set up the same exact way. Like it'd
be like going to Valhalla for him.
I still have to head to that.
Oh yes, he has been to the Quick Stop.
Because at that point in time, it's like with Monster Mania, it's over in that Red Bank area. So it's like we should take a day and travel over there.
So that's the thing is the way when we went, we were going to Walker Stalker that was in New Jersey. And it was like first thing I did when I got there, I was like, all right, how close is Red Bank? And it wasn't that far. So we all,
it was Walker Stalker and MedLife.
I think so. It was me, Leo, Mr. Toney of the Dead, and Mike. Yeah, we all went, and it was a good time. We also went to the Stash to check that out, and I guess the Stash has moved. I want to go check out the new Stash, and then there's also the theater now that he's doing. But anyways, before we get too much off the subject,
so we got to talk about the Kevin Smith thing. Let's get to the big announcement, Kev.
Yes, well, it's a big announcement for us. So it's we've been working. Well, Tony's been working on this quite a while to try to get these guys on. So a little while back, it was our first show where it was just me and Toney. Like after that little when Leo was going to do his own thing and whatever, I was taking over on this, and we had our first guest was Hannah Fairman, who if you are a fan of the VHS movie, the first one, she's the I Like You, that girl. She was our first guest, and she's directing a movie that's coming out called The Events of Surrounding a Peeping Tom. And there's a couple people we've had on the show in the past that is they've been guests before, and
they're alum.
Yeah, and they're involved in this movie. So we're getting a bunch of them back on Thursday. One of them is a surprise. There's a possibility. It's not set in stone. This person's going to be able to stop in. But so on Thursday, we're going to have Hannah Fairman, who, like I said, from VHS. What was the movie that the spinoff of the VHS, the character?
Siren.
She was also, I was flipping out during the interview because I realized during the interview that she was in an episode of Toast of London, and I actually love that show. But besides that, we're having Felissa Rose, Sleepaway Camp, a billion other things. She's fantastic. Where one of the guys that we've had on a couple times, he's been a producer in some things. He's acted in some stuff. Daniel John, he's coming on as well. He's in the movie. We have Xander Goldman, who's in the movie, and Lucas Dunway, who's also acting in the movie. They've all had their own other things going on. So Xander, let me see. He was in the movie Sweet Girl, Expedition Unknown. He was in an episode of that. Nice. That's a
TLC show.
Yeah, that show's good. That Josh Gates, is that his name?
Yeah.
Lucas Dunway was in I'm pulling up IMDb. They See You. He was in United We Fall 2. The Watch. It's pre-production. Wicked Ones. Time's Up. So yeah, they're all, and those guys, those last two guys are new to us. So hopefully, we'll be able to make a friendship and have them come on when we want to promote their other stuff. But Hannah Fairman, who's a big deal to us, especially because she's the creepiest part of VHS, in my opinion. And she was in Toast of London, which is huge. She's directing. Directing the movie, and Felissa Rose. Hello. So here's a quick synopsis for the events surrounding a peeping Tom. Martin Malone, a lonely voyeur, is caught and arrested following a misstep. As he nears the end of his court-mandated rehabilitation, Martin suspects that someone or something far from sinister is watching him. So, and then there's also another guest that may be coming on. It's not set in stone. If they're able to, they will. And if you are looking at the IMDb, he's also a big deal in the horror community.
It's Oklahoma Ward.
Well, no, but he's great too. But yeah, so we're very much looking forward to this. This is going to be Thursday. We don't know if we're going to have them all for the full hour. It's something where some of them may need to take off because they have a meeting for their Kickstarter. Their Kickstarter actually starts
the day after.
The day after on Friday.
Right.
So they're coming on to promote that. So it'll be a good time for sure. We're very excited to have them on. And like I said, we've been trying to get this in the works for a little bit now.
Definitely. So once
and
Daniel got back,
that happened.
Exactly, because at that point in time too, that's what we were saying is getting so many people on at once, and so many people working on so many different things, and we've had it before where someone gets called in last minute, and that's
so,
what.
Yeah, I got a message from Daniel today that he verified with everyone. So I don't know if he sent you the same message, but he's like, "Oh, I just verified." Yeah. So yeah, and including the possible surprise guest. So we're very much looking forward to that. So it's going to be the same time, 9:00 Thursday night. Unfortunately, Wolfie will have to watch because he can't be on. Apologize for that, Wolfie. We would love to have you here, obviously.
I'd love to be here. You know that.
Yeah. So Sergio's asking what time. It's going to be the same time, 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Thursday night, on our Facebook and YouTube live.
6:00 Pacific time.
Yes, 6:00 Pacific time.
Specific.
Yeah, and so we're very much looking forward to it, and we hope that people will jump in and ask some questions. I'm going to start pushing or promoting it tomorrow. Obviously, a little bit earlier. I'm busy making up the thumbnail. I'm not done with it yet. So I want to, before I start pushing it, I want to have an image, But yeah, so that's that.
That's one of the coolest things, and that's something that I love doing this show when I can. It's something that Kevin and I started together, along with Leo, and it was just, I don't know, when we started the show, it was just more like, hey, Felissa was our third guest. And I got her on because I asked.
Right.
And
she's fantastic. So you were talking about like the cons in New Jersey and stuff like that. She does all of those.
Yeah.
So
I still have yet to meet her in person.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You don't even know what you're like. She gives I don't know now with the whole COVID thing, but she gives like the best hugs. So Sergio, it's 9:00, not 8. 9:00 Thursday night. And we're going to be on for at least a half hour, and we may be on after if some of them need to leave because, like I said, they have a meeting for their Kickstarter. But we're going to be able to talk to some of them for at least a half hour, if not the whole hour. So it'll be a good time. But yeah, you were saying, Wolfie, we started this a while ago.
Yeah,
we've gone from I'm not bashing any guests we've had, but we've gone from like being nervous and excited about having Wet Movie on. Like we couldn't believe a Wet Movie was going to come on. I enjoy Brendan. So it was still a big deal that he even acknowledges, but the fact that he was coming on, we went from that to like Kane Hodder and Dee Wallace and
Oh, I know. It was really weird because when we first had Felissa on, I wasn't nervous about it at all. And this is someone that I saw Sleepaway Camp back in the theater when it came out,
Yeah, because you were already a senior in high school.
Yeah, exactly. Well, close, but no.
You serious? It was like 12. No.
1983. So yeah, a couple years, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But no, I remember my first time being really super nervous was when we first got Jessica Cameron on.
Oh yeah.
And it just I remember Leo going, I did my interview with her, and it's like she in between doing my interview with her and then her coming on Wicked Horror, she went like to go get something, and Leo goes, "Dude, you need to calm the hell down."
Yeah. was that the time that when she signed off at the end of the show, you're like, "Love you"? Was that
no?
That,
no. That was like a time or two later, because it was when we just had her on. It was just her.
Mm-hmm.
That was when she had brought Dorf on for like the first time.
Yeah.
You know?
That's pretty fun. I mean, I'll never forget that. Love you.
I didn't even know I said it until Kevin was
like, all right, bye, Mom.
Did you just tell her you love her?
Yeah.
To me, it's saying goodbye. You know?
So it's like, that's the thing is you got to call it out when it happens.
Exactly.
You know? So,
but it's funny because you were mentioning, I started watching you guys, and it was, I think one of the first ones you guys had on was I know one of the first ones I was watching was For Pieces of Talent with Joe Stauffer and Christy Ray and David Long. But then I think
David Long wasn't on with Christy Ray, and
he was only on.
He was only on once. He was by himself.
I think I was actually part of the show when them two came on. But I remember the other one was for Bikini Girls on Ice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then one of the other ones that really, because you for a while you had like boom, 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 all like awesome guests, and then it was Courtney Palm, who, by the way, says she wants to come back on.
Nice.
Caught her.
I caught her live.
I caught her live on Instagram, and she was she called me out. She's like, "Oh, and Toney's Movies, part of an awesome podcast." I'm like, "Oh, we definitely got to get you back on."
Yes,
so she said,
she's another one who's phenomenal. If you ever get a chance to meet her live, like when Leo and I went to Death House, we were walking down. We're in a prison. We're walking down a hallway. She's in her dressing room singing, and we walked by. We didn't even stop because we're just like, we don't want to bother. She's in her dressing room, and we walked into like the holding area. She had stopped singing, ran out, and just ran up to me and hugged me.
Yeah, it's like, Kevin.
She's like, I know you. I'm like, yeah. What's up? How you doing? And she hugged Leo, and it was just like she's such a genuinely like just she's very earthy, crunchy. Like she's very into the environment and animals and stuff like that. She's a sweetheart. She's a total sweetheart. Super nice. So that's the other thing. We're lucky enough to meet some of these guys. So that's one thing that Sergio asked a little while ago, asking when he can meet me and Wolfie. Wolfie's on the other side of the country, so I don't think that's going to happen. I haven't even met Toney in person.
Nope.
So he hasn't even met me in person.
Right. I haven't met. Yeah. I mean,
no, I'm just saying. I mean, Toney and you are close to one another, but I've known you a little bit longer. Yeah. So I mean, still haven't met in person.
Right. Well,
the only one I ever met is when Mr. Toney of the Dead was doing, the stuff with us, and I ran into him at Chiller.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And definitely,
that'll probably be the only time we'll ever be able to run into each other is if I go to a con out in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Same thing with Sergio. I don't know if he's ever gone to cons, but
I don't think we've ever really talked about it. I didn't ask him about it.
There's that New Jersey one. I forget New Jersey Horror Fest. I think it's called
New Jersey Horror Con, Monster Mania, and Chiller are like.
And both Monster Mania and Chiller. I did not have a good time at Chiller. I had a great time at Monster Mania.
Which is the one that's always in Cherry Hill?
That's Monster Mania.
Okay.
And that's where we met Joe and Christy Ray in person for the first time as well.
Yeah, and then you got that video, and you're like, oh, Wolfie, they sent the video for you, and it was Joe rapping and.
Yeah, it was. That's another thing. I mean, I don't know. It's been fun for sure. I'm saying that like it's over. It's not over. But
no. I just brought this up just because it's been a. I mean, I'm not saying I'm quitting tomorrow or anything, but it's been a great ride so far, and we've got to meet a lot of cool people. I got to have a lot of people on that I never thought in my life I would get to sit down and talk to.
Right. Same here. I mean, we've had people that I've talked to at cons, but that's because I paid $25 for an hour.
But I mean, Michael. I mean, I've talked to the big three from The Hills Have Eyes. Michael Berryman, Dee Wallace, and Suze Lanier.
Yep.
You know, and that was a big film.
I have that Suze Lanier story that I'll never share on the air, but if I meet you in person, ask me about the Suze Lanier story. She's also a sweetheart. She's one I've never met in person. I've never met Dee Wallace either, and I want to. I really want to.
I don't think anybody's ever come on here, like, especially like again, don't want to bash anybody, but like the horror icons. I don't think we've had one on here that I can say, like they always say, don't meet your heroes because sometimes they'll disappoint you. Every person that we've had on that's a horror icon has not disappointed whatsoever. Right. And it's one of those things where
there's some that I've seen at cons that have disappointed me. But those are also people that, because they disappoint, I'm like, there's no way I would even want them on the show. Like,
But it's like you look at, I mean, I grew up with the people under the stairs, and Jan Birch is a Facebook friend, and he contacts me and, talks to me. Like, we had Sadie Katz, who, didn't realize Tom was a 13-year-old.
She talks to Wolfie every day, but she just didn't realize that.
Yeah. I chat with her every day on Facebook, and she's like, well, what name do you go by on there? And I tell her my name, and she's like,
yeah.
I do talk with you every day. It's like,
that's the problem of having a nickname.
Yeah,
but that's
Sadie Katz. I chat with Genevieve Rossi from time to time over on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I follow, like, she posts a lot. Like, she's all over the place. I just saw two. I don't know if it's New Jersey. It might not be New Jersey, but I was excited because I hadn't seen anything posted from Robert Mukes in a while, like as far as like con related stuff. And he's got some cons coming up. So I'm just like, because he's an awesome dude too. And if you ever get a chance to meet him, he's gigantic. That dude is like extremely intimidating because he's a wicked nice guy. But like, I was like, wow, you could rip me in half easily.
Yeah, and he was a basketball player. I mean, so
yeah, he's a big dude. But he's also, again, he's funny. Like, he's really chill.
I never thought I'd get to talk to Sid Haig the way we got to talk to Sid Haig.
Yeah.
You know,
it was Sergio,
one of the... Sorry to interrupt, because that is a big deal. Sid Haig was a big deal to us for sure. Sid Haig. I mean, come on, going all the way back to Spider Baby for me. But
yeah, exactly.
Sergio's asking if we would ever have someone from the Conjuring movie as a guest, or have we ever had? We have not.
I would love to have Patrick Wilson on.
I would love to have any of them on. Sergio, make some calls. Make it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll wait. Go ahead.
I'll wait.
Yeah, he was mentioning, he's like, you ever think you have like Vin Diesel or anybody like that on? I'm like, I mean, we're a very small podcast. I mean, we're growing every week, I think, definitely progressing.
In all fairness, though, Tony, I mean, we never thought we would have Kelly Maroney on. The Candyman. We had Tony Todd on a few.
No, he's never been on the live show.
Well, no, but you have interviewed him.
I've interviewed him, but I would love to have him on. I still would love to have him on, but at the same time, too, I don't sometimes I feel like I'm overstepping my boundaries, and I don't want to ruin what I have. No,
that's fine. I mean,
that's why, like, the last time I saw Kane, I was like, "Hey, do you think you'll ever come back on the show?" And he's like, "No." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "Why not?" He's just like, "What would make the first time special?" I'm like, and he
makes sense.
Totally makes sense. And then the next day, because I was just like, I didn't mean to upset you if I did. I just was, whatever. He's like, no, that's fine. Because when he said it, it was like, I'm going to rip your mouth apart. Like, the way that he said it. Because he's, again, when we're on the set of Death House, he was doing this prison, riot scene.
He's in character.
Yeah, and he was totally in character. And just me, Leo, and Tony are sitting there, Tony of the Dead. And he just comes out of this dark hallway and just like whips like this flashlight in a chair and just like looks right at us and just like keeps walking. I'm like, Jesus Christ, we're in a dark hallway in a prison. This is not cool. So yeah, Sergio, get on that. Conjuring, make it happen.
Yeah. But it's like, and then we'll catch people in a budding career. Like we've had, Tristan Clay and Destiny Orndorff on, and it seems like they're going from Red Eye to the next one to the next one. So from, up and coming people to, horror icons. I don't know. I mean, I guess between Kevin and Leo, I think of thank you guys a lot, but it's one of those things where
not enough.
It's like
no, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
No, but it's one of those.
You've been busting your butt recently, you know, so that's it's appreciated for sure. Because we all have jobs, we all have other stuff going. I almost said shit. I didn't. But I have other stuff that's going on. Like I've been dealing with some medical stuff, so hopefully that ends soon. Either my life or the medical stuff, or the other.
Well, let's just pray for the medical stuff.
Oh yeah.
We need you around, man.
Yeah. That being said, I do have 3 more MRIs on Saturday. Hooray, everyone!
That's always fun.
Yeah. Yay, neurology. So, anyways, I'll shut up about that. But yeah, so we're actually at 50 minutes right now. We could probably wrap.
That's up to you. I mean,
we can probably wrap. We have another show on Thursday. So
okay.
Yeah. So thanks for everyone who's listening. Thanks, Sergio, as always, in the chat room. Get on the Conjuring thing. You know what? Make it a Conjuring Vin Diesel double header. Okay.
Yeah, we talk Pitch Black and Patrick Wilson.
I want to talk Iron Giant. I'm more of an Iron Giant guy.
I really liked Pitch Black though.
I've never seen it.
It's basically, I mean, in a way, it's an Alien knockoff in a way, but it's got a.
What was the second one?
The Chronicles of Riddick.
Chronicles, that's it. And then wasn't there a third one too? Just Riddick.
Sergio's now calling me out, being like, "How can I do that?"
Well, see, that's the thing. When we started this, Sergio, no one told us how to do it. We had to figure it all out for ourselves.
Yep. So just get out the yellow pages. Look under V for Vin Diesel in the yellow pages, not the white pages. No, I'm just kidding.
But that's the one thing.
I'm joking with you, Sergio. I'm not expecting that. But if you did it, that'd be amazing.
But it's one of those things where we've talked to other people in different other podcasts, and they're like, "Oh, how do you do it? How do you get your guests?" And it's like, you ask. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is either you don't get a response or they say no.
At the end of the day, the reason we're doing it is to promote what they're doing.
Right.
No, definitely.
And now Sergio says I'm nuts.
Oh, you are.
That guy's nuts.
That's beside the point.
But yeah, it's the same. Like I said, there's people that are promoting something. If they're actors, or maybe there's an anniversary of something coming up, and whatever. Like, so the dude from Back to the Future, he was promoting his tour. He wanted to come on, so we're like, yeah, let's do it. So I don't know. It's a good time.
It's really hilarious because, like Tony said, people are always saying, "How do you get these people on?" It's like, dude, there's no secret to it. There's really no. I mean, I got on Facebook one day, and I got on Twitter, and it was Leo and myself that were doing a lot of the booking back then, and we would just get on there and I just start booking whatever. Do I know someone? Oh yeah, I've said Jessica Cameron 1,000 times. We got Dorf. We got, and just reach out to them and see if they knew somebody that needed a.
Tony, you should start doing TikToks where you ask people, like, you just booty clap them onto the show.
You want to come on? Huh?
Do it like Morse code. I don't know how you do a long one, but that'd be weird. But like slow motion, just like what?
I think the only if there's anybody listening now that might be doing a podcast, the only thing that might help us a little bit is we've been doing it for so long. I don't want to say we have an in for a lot of people, but I think the guests that we've had on, maybe if they talk, okay, we've had this person, and they, the word gets out. It's like, okay, maybe these guys, there's been people where they're like, oh, we heard about you and it was fun. We heard about you and we enjoyed ourselves.
And one thing too is even though I grew up a Stern fan and I grew up an Opie and Anthony fan, and they're brutal, right?
Yeah.
That's not comforting to me. Like,
no.
I don't want to. So you better believe we've had guests on that maybe their new movie's not something that we love. We're not gonna bash them. Like,
we're not gonna brutal.
We're here to help, and they're here to help us too. So it's at the same time too. Like, we've had other people that have been involved in the show, and then they just get negative, and it's like, all right, we don't need that.
I just love it when like after every show, and it's always happened. When you get a new person on, they're like,
that was fun.
Yeah, exactly. The the show's cut, and we're talking behind the scenes, and they're like, "Oh my God, this was so." I'm always thinking to myself, going, "Did you really expect to come on here and just have us just shred the hell out of your career?"
And not only that, there's been some people that they've done shows with that have never watched any of their stuff, hasn't done any research on them, whatever.
But the other thing too is at that point in time, even if we watch the movie beforehand and then we get them on, now knowing the show and knowing the industry, not fully but more than I ever did before, we never know how or what happened with that you might be watching it and have one idea, and then they come on and the final thing got stolen or whatever, that they had to reshoot it as quickly as possible, kind of deal. So that's another reason why I think that when we come on, we don't, it might not be our cup of tea, but again, we have no idea. And how many times have we said it? It's a lot better than a movie I've ever made because I've never made a movie.
Right.
Exactly. So it's one of those deals where...
That being said, now that we've sold ourselves to people that already listen, because that's all we've been doing for like the last 20 minutes, which is fine. But so if you are listening and, even if you have a podcast and maybe you want even if you want to come on, like, reach out. If you're a filmmaker or an actor or whatever, and you want to, you're interested in coming on, let us know. And, but yeah, that being said, Toney, where can people find you besides in a documentary and booty clapping on TikTok?
In New Jersey.
Well, speaking of the documentary, find it on Amazon now. It's called Movie Hoarders, from VHS to DVD and beyond. So anybody that is a movie collector or anything, I watched it. It's a fun time because it brings it's pretty much everybody has the same idea of why they collect, but it's a cool documentary. So check that out. It's on Amazon. But you can find my stuff, Toney Has 9 Fingers, on YouTube, where I do movie reviews or unboxings, anything movie related. Toney Has 9 Fingers on TikTok, where I do not do any twerking videos.
That's
because I don't want to get sued. I don't want people to...
Well, not only that, you do it. You do them all to that WAP song.
He's now got an OnlyFans page too.
Yeah.
At that point, like I said, I don't want anybody to sue me for going blind. So I do not do anything movie related. You'll find on there. Toney's Movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me, and of course here most Tuesdays, and a special Thursday. Make sure you join us this Thursday. Here on the Wicked Horror Show.
And this show, just real quick, this audio episode is going up the Thursday of the live show. So if you're listening to this, tonight.
Watch it tonight.
Yeah, watch it tonight live on Facebook and YouTube. Ask questions. Felissa Rose, Hannah Fearman. Don't forget.
A special guest.
Someone
might be here. Possible special guest.
But yeah. So Wolfie, besides subscribing furiously to Toney's TikTok and OnlyFans, I can imagine just like the whap whap whap, and just like the rest of his body's not even moving. He's just like, oh.
Toney's gonna start twerking when he does the movies behind us move. The
yeah. Movies behind us whap whap whap.
Yeah.
So, Wolfie, where can we find you?
You can find me on YouTube, The 13th Wolfman, Twitter at The 13th Wolfman, Tumblr, 13th Wolfman, The Proud, doing the Wicked Horror Reviews with Kev, doing the Wicked Horror Show. Usually twice a month.
Take a breath. Ooh, I'm so excited.
And I'm always trying to throw something up on my YouTube. Check it out. Check out Toney's stuff. I know we rarely comment on each other's stuff, but I know we do watch it. So, Kev, what about yourself?
I just did the vomit sound because you said you're throwing something up on YouTube. A Knuckle on Instagram. And doing this show, doing the reviews with Wolfie. I'm part of Secret Underground, Hideout, and Black and White Fright, all of which are in the Dorkening Podcast Network. Go to thedorkening.com for more information on those shows and every other show on the network. You're going to need to take some time out of your day to read up on those because there's a lot. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks, Sergio. And we will see you Thursday night. Facebook.com, Wicked Horror Show, and Wicked Horror Show on YouTube. Come on over and ask some questions. All right, bye.
Because they need them.
Yeah, we don't have questions. We're out. All right, bye. Where's my mouse? I don't know where it is. God damn it. Found it. Bye.